Happy Amourshipping Day 2018, everybody. Hey everyone, Templar74 here with another video, and today's video will be a tribute to the subject that got this channel started, Amourshipping, aka Satoshi, the ship of Pokemon's main anime protagonist Ash/Satoshi, and his childhood friend and Kalos traveling companion Serena. Now, unlike other pairings, Amourshipping is actually canon to the Pokemon anime, regardless of what haters and toxic community members say or try to argue. It boggles my mind why we're still arguing this 3 years down the road, but, well, almost 3 years down the road. Gosh, has it been that long? Anyway, I digress. Now, yeah, with that said, Amourshipping Day, October 17th, was a tradition that started 5 long years ago when XY anime was revealed, and it's been celebrated every year ever since. So this year, I decided to celebrate by bringing an old video back from the dead, thank you ShowPro, and updating it. That video was my top 5 favorite Amourshipping episodes. And yeah, so since I'm sure you're all eagerly waiting for me to begin and stop my rambling, let's get started. But before I do, please keep in mind that these are all in my own opinion, and number 1 will be my all-time favorite Amourshipping episode. Number 5, Pokemon XY, Episode 40, Serena vs. Sauna, Pokevision Showdown, or in the English dub, Day 3 Blockbusters. Now this episode was not only a good Amourshipping episode, but this episode was also a good foresight into the path that we would see the character of Serena take further down in the series. At this point, Serena didn't really have a goal. She didn't really know what she wanted to do, but she met this new character, Shauna, in the English dub, or Sana in the Japanese version, who would eventually turn out to be her rival. And it was really her that got Serena introduced to the whole aspect of Pokemon performances, kind of a sneak peek into a Pokemon performer. And it was really this episode where that really opened up. But it really got interesting when we saw Serena out there. She was taking the lead for her friends in this episode because they were in a contest with the other team and they were really wanting to win those points. Serena takes the lead to try to lead them to victory, and when she's out scouting a location, she falls off a cliff. Literally just falls off the cliff. Ash is able to save her, though, before she ends up getting hurt, and Ash in turn ends up getting hurt. And it was really a nice mirror because when Serena first met Ash, she was the one hurt. She was the one lost and injured. And yeah, this time the role had been reversed. Although Ash wasn't really lost, he was injured, and we had to see Serena tend to him. And it's during this time when Serena and Ash are trapped in the bottom of this ravine that Ash encourages her. He's like, don't worry, you'll find your dream. It may take you a while, but you'll find it. And you'll find it with Fennekin at the time. And yeah, this was the encouraging discussion that allowed Serena to clear her thoughts and be like, it's okay that I don't know what I want to do just yet. There's nothing wrong with taking time and figuring it out, because there's nothing wrong with trying to figure out your dream. And that's really what this episode was about. It was Ash telling Serena, you have a dream. You just have to find it. And it can take all the time in the world. It could take no time in the world. And it really just showed that not only did Ash care about Serena enough to risk his life for her, but he also was kind of the wise one, the mature one, and just sitting back and being like, okay, I can't choose your goal for you, Serena, but I can be here to help you in any way possible. And in this particular episode, it just happened to be advice which Serena was able to turn later on in the episode to make the Pokevision video that would win her team the points for that day, the event. So yeah, this was a really nice episode. It was a nice little mirror to how Ash and Serena first met, and it was really a nice showcase to show that Ash not only cares about Serena and her future, but also cares about her right here in the here and now, and is kind of like the mature voice of reason in the episode and in the series, actually. It's really an aspect of Pokemon I miss, but Yeah, so that was number 5, Pokemon XY, Serena versus Sana, Pokevision Showdown, or in the English dub, Day 3 Blockbusters. Number 4, Pokemon X, Y, and Z, Episode 45, The Last Battle with Satoshi, Serena's Choice, or in the English dub, The First Day of the Rest of Your Life. Now, before I talk about the actual episode, I just want to say this episode was episode 59 done right. No, I kid. This episode, though, really was an impactful episode for a couple of reasons, but the main thing was we had just gotten done with the League. We had just gone through all the craziness with Zygarde and Team Flare, and then we got the last 3 episodes of the series announced, and I forget why, but when the first cast list came out for this episode, 3 names were particularly absent: Serena's, Clement's, and Bonnie's. So nobody in the community really knew what to make of this at the time. Nobody was really sure what they were going to do at this point. And it later turned out that that was a mistake, and we got the actual episode. And the actual episode did not fail to disappoint at all. We saw Serena, all this has just gone down. Ash had just finished the League. Team Flare's been defeated. Ash has already basically said he's going to be going home soon. And here's Serena. She's still weighing what Palermo had told her earlier on at the end of the masterclass about offering to take her in as her protege and to teach her, but Serena was still entirely unsure of whether she wanted to do that or not, because she had a journey with her friends, and she told Palermo that she couldn't go with her until her journey was over, and Serena really couldn't decide whether her journey was over or not. She even got to thinking about discussions she had had with Arya and about making people smile. The first half of the episode was classic Serena, a torn Serena not knowing what to do, but finally deciding to do something. And that something, of course, was to hold a special exhibition performance between her and Jessie and Shauna. And the 3 of them worked together to bring smiles to a devastated city that was still trying to recover. So that was classic Serena. But she was still torn. And what was most shocking about this episode was, especially in the English dub, when the gang decides to split up, Clement and Bonnie are going back to the gym. Ash asks Serena what she wanted to do or if she had something in mind. Serena says no. In the English dub, Ash says that Serena can come with her. But in the English sub version, the Japanese version, the conversation falls along the lines of Ash asks Serena if there's anything she wanted to do. She said nothing in particular. And so Ash offers to spend the entire afternoon with Serena. So these two spend an entire afternoon alone. They're out wandering Lumio City together. They're having a snack. They're having those cookie treat things. I forget what they're called. Ash is gazing at shops with Serena, something that he's never really does, except when he's around Serena. And he's trying to make Serena feel more comfortable, trying to do something nice for Serena, trying to get her to smile herself, because he can see that she's torn. And so it's then that Ash suggests having a battle with Serena, because when you battle, it helps Ash anyway clear his mind and make decisions and see things. And so, yeah, these two have a battle. Their only official battle against one another that we actually get to see any battling done in any sense of the word. Yeah, we see these two go at it. Serena's got Braixen out. Ash's got Pikachu out. But mid-battle, Ash stops. He said, that's enough, because he has a feeling that he knows what Serena wants to do and what Serena wants to say. And yeah, Ash at that point knew when to back off. He saw it in Serena's eyes that she was no longer torn. She knew what she wanted to do, and of course that was going to Hoenn. And yeah, going on a journey. Although we didn't know it was Hoenn yet. That was actually Palermo's suggestion. Oh, I hate you for that, Palermo. But yeah, Palermo suggests going to Hoenn to try Pokemon contests. Serena decides to do it, continuing her journey by herself and her Pokemon. And yeah, Ash is fully supporting this decision of hers. He's even offering to keep rooting for her and keep hoping that she does her best, praying to do her best in the Japanese version. And that Ash believes in her and has faith in her. And it's those words that really meant the most to Serena when Ash said to her that he has faith in her and that he believes in her. So yeah, that was a really powerful episode, and it just once again showed how much Ash cared for her and how Ash was able to step up and be the mature one. And it also shows that Ash's words, Ash's actions had such a profound impact on Serena's character. Whenever Ash gave Serena a suggestion, she usually did it. Whenever Ash said something, she took it to heart. She took it literally, and she actually did it the way she thought Ash would. So yeah, this was just another powerful episode to prove that these two really did have an effect on one another, and their characters built one another up during this series, rather. And so yeah, that's why episode 4 on this list, or ranking number 4 on this list, has got to go to this episode. It's a really good episode, really well written, and it was a really good Amourshipping episode. Arguably the final quote-unquote Amourshipping episode of the Pokemon XY and XY and Z series. So yeah, of course they threw out all the stops on this one. But anyway, that is why Pokemon XY and Z episode 45, The Last Battle with Satoshi Serena's Choice, or The First Day of the Rest of Your Life in the English dub, has got to be number 4 on my list. Number 3, Pokemon XY episode 7, Leave It to Serena, the Charging Psyhorn Race, or in the English dub, Giving Chase at the Rhyhorn Race. So this episode is number 3 on this list for multiple reasons. Probably the biggest elephant in the room, the biggest reason why it's number 3 is this was the episode where we really learned why Serena felt this way towards Ash, where these two and their story really began. Because up to this point, we had little snippets of it. We had little clips of Ash being as younger and Serena as younger, but we never really got the story behind it. But we did in this episode. But despite that, in that big revelation, this was also a first in this episode, because up until this point, Ash's female traveling companions usually just invited themselves along. This is the first time Ash ever invited a female companion to join him, and Ash actually looked nervous when asking Serena if she would join them. And yeah, when Serena happily accepted, you saw Ash's face light up. He was really happy about it. And Ash even said if the two of them went together, they could help one another. So, yeah, there was that. That was history making in its own right. But then we got the backstory. The backstory came out when Serena pulled out that handkerchief and presented it back to Ash and said it was his, and that he loaned it to her back then when they were at that Pokemon summer camp when they were little. And of course we had that iconic scene of when these two first met, when Ash came to Serena's rescue, thanks to the Poliwag. And yeah, we also got that amazing backdrop music in the English sub version. The English dub version, unfortunately, XY and XY and Z were not immune to this. The dub version just murders the music, just mutilates it and does whatever they want. But in the Japanese version, we got arguably the most fitting soundtrack and the unofficial theme of Amourshipping, the Laver City music. We had that playing in the background. It was a very cute, very well done scene. I really enjoyed it. Really disappointed they didn't play on that more and elaborate that more and follow up on that. I think that was a huge miss for the series because that had so much potential to go down, and I was kind of hoping way back then that when we got to the Pokemon Summer Camp part of the series, when we got to that arc, I was kind of hoping that would be brought up again, but what can you do? I guess it was brought up in a way. But that point aside, I really do think that was a missed opportunity. But for episode 7 itself, that was really well done. And then, of course, we had Serena teaching Ash how to ride a Rhyhorn. And we also had Serena making Ash some cookies at the end, thanking him for what he had done for her with a huge blush on her face. And yeah, this was really the episode where we got the whole story of how these two began. And although it was a missed opportunity that the series didn't play on later, it was still a really well done episode, really well done for the time, and the Japanese sub just picked some of the best music they could to fit with that. Unfortunately, if you're locked in the English dub, you're never going to realize that. But with all that being said, this is why number 3 has got to go to episode 7, Leave It to Serena, the Charging Psyhorn Race, or in the English dub, Giving Chase at the Rhyhorn Race. Number 2, Pokemon X, Y, and Z, Episode 22, Battling at Full Volume, Serena Becomes Satoshi, or in the English dub, The Strongest Pikachu Showdown. So, when this episode was first announced, this episode literally broke the internet a little bit because nobody really knew what to make of it. We had that one screenshot with the episode title of Serena in Ash's clothes. And speculation ran wild as to what this episode would be about. And the episode really didn't disappoint when it came down to it. The episode had a good balance of Amourshipping, action, and comedy. And it was really one of those few episodes where it hit every note. And yeah, this episode was really well done. Of course, we also have to mention there was some dark, more hidden humor that I think the Japanese creators of the show just intended for everybody to look over. But, modern day and age, nobody could overlook it. And we'll talk about that in just a second. But yeah, this episode was really great. It showed Serena caring for Ash's well-being, from trying to tell him that what he was doing was going to get him sick. Ash says, no, I'm fine. And sure enough, he gets sick. Serena volunteers to stay behind while the others go and get medicine to basically nurse Ash back to health until the help with the medicine arrives. And yeah, we see Jimmy come along. Jimmy wants a battle from Ash, and Serena, out of concern for Ash's well-being, decides she's not going to tell Ash about it. Instead, she's just going to take the incentive to jump in Ash's place, to literally become Ash. And she did that by stealing Ash's clothes and impersonating him. The first female traveling companion of Ash's to ever cross-dress as him, by the way. And yeah, she actually did a fairly good job of it. And this is where I gotta say that humor bit really applied. The internet broke. A faction of the internet broke when Serena did that, because everybody's like, well, wait a minute here. Serena had to change outfits and literally become Ash somewhere. Where did that happen? Oh yeah, right in front of Ash. Of course, Ash was asleep at the time. But yeah, that was really something that did not go unnoticed for very long. And even I got to admit, I poked fun at it because it is kind of humorous to think about it. But, hey, it is what it is. So yeah, Serena dresses up as Ash, goes on and battles Jimmy, and does a very good job of imitating Ash's battle style, his movements with Pikachu, even does a good job of trying to emulate Ash's voice to fool Jimmy. She does a really good job. Not only does she fool Jimmy, she fools Team Rocket, and she even manages to fool Clement and Bonnie there for a couple minutes. But yeah, so she's going through this battle. The battle was really well done. Serena's not giving up. She's going to do her best for Ash. And yeah, Clement and Bonnie arrive back. They're like, well, wait a minute, Ash is battling? And then they notice it's Serena. Of course, Bonnie has to poke fun at Serena with the whole hashtag Bonnie knows from way back when in episode 79, where she teases Serena. She's like, do your best, Ash, and then just slides away. And yeah, we see Ash even come to Serena's rescue a little bit when the Pikachus are captured towards the end of the episode. So yeah, all said and done, this was a really good episode. It was a really good Serena episode. It was a really good Amourshipping episode. And like I said, it's one of those few episodes in the series that hit the right balance between Amourshipping, the comic relief, the comedy moments, and the serious tone, the serious moments. So yeah, this was a really good episode all the way around, and why the runner-up spot for my favorite Amourshipping episode of all time has to go to Pokemon X, Y, and Z, Episode 22, Battling at Full Volume, Serena Becomes Satoshi, or in the English dub, The Strongest Pikachu Showdown. Number 1, Pokemon X, Y, and Z, Episode 47, The Endless Zero Until the Day We Meet Again, or in the English dub, Till We Compete Again. And this episode, before I go on to the actual episode, I just want to say this episode is still debated back and forth on whether this actually qualifies as an Amourshipping episode or not. The bulk of the community tends to say no, but considering what happened at the end of the episode or towards the end of the episode, there's no denying that this episode's got to be put on the list somewhere. It was just too big to mess up. And yeah, I remember actually when this episode first came out, I had class first thing in the morning, so I had told myself the night before, because I knew it was the series finale, I'm like, okay, I can't deal with this right now. I got to get to class. I got to do well on this exam because it was my final exam for that class for the year, and I can't even remember what the exam was for now. But anyway, I was going to take this exam, so I decided I was going to shut my phone off. I wasn't going to look at Twitter, wasn't going to look at YouTube, wasn't going to look at anything that would spoil it until I actually saw the episode. So I get home and I decide, you know what, I can't wait any longer. I'm sure somebody's talked about how it ended by now. I opened up my YouTube, and literally I scrolled for about 5 seconds, and literally every single video I saw was Ash kisses Serena, Serena kisses Ash, Amourshipping is finally canon, Ash and Serena kiss, etc., 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 all the way down the line. I'm like, what did I miss? What just happened? Oh my god, I gotta see this episode. So yeah, I immediately jumped on, watched the episode, and this was actually one of the few times in Pokemon where I actually cried. I cried at the end of the original generation when we watched Brock and Misty separate from Ash, and that travel party came to an end. I cried and fangirled when I saw this ending, because this ending was on par with it, probably even more. But yeah, I watched the episode. I was still in shock about what I had just seen. And I think one of the first things I did after I saw the episode was, and I know you guys remember Official Amour Shipper, I got on Skype and I Skyped him immediately. I'm like, dude, did you see this? And he's like, yes, I did, man. I'm fangirling. And yeah, that was fantastic. That was the first time in a long time I'd ever felt that way, especially about a Pokemon episode. But yeah, the beginning of the episode, it was powerful. We saw the emulation of Serena from Ash when he's talking to his mom on the phone. We see Ash's mom extend an invitation to Serena, Clement, and Bonnie for them to come to Kanto, to Pallet, to have dinner with them and discuss things with them. And you actually see Serena blush about that. Then we get to the actual episode in the airport there, the final goodbyes of the gang. You know, you're crying through all that. And then that moment happens. They're seeing Serena off first. Serena thanks everybody for what they have done, but especially Ash. And in the Japanese version tells Ash that he is her goal. And they worded a little bit differently in the English dub. I can't remember the exact wording, but it was something along the lines of, it basically follows the same suit. Ash doesn't know what to think of this. His mouth goes ajar. He's taken aback by this. He doesn't know what to think about it. Serena goes down the escalator. She said goodbye. She's going down the escalator. She decides, nope, there's something else I got to do. Turns around, asks Ash, who was the only one that went up to the escalator. And basically, Serena looks up and tells Ash, hey, one more thing, runs up and kisses him. Now, the kiss is censored because, you know, it's a kid's show. But we see these two kiss, and the director later confirms that, yes, it was a kiss on the lips. It was a legitimate kiss on the lips between the two of them. And it was at that moment that the kiss between Ash and Serena became the number 2 kissing scene in all of Japanese anime. And in fact, it still holds number 2 up to this day. Whether that be just because this was something that had never happened before, or it's just something that's still that popular even today, is up for debate. You know, the Amourshipping haters are just like, it's just something that, you know, it's because it was never done before, blah, 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 blah. But I tend to believe that it's the latter, because it's still crazy popular over in Japan. But with all that being said, we see that, and Serena's going back down the escalator with a huge blush on her face. Everybody's just like, did that really just happen? And Ash's just like, But eventually Ash smiles. His eyes mist over. He's waving goodbye to Serena. And that was pretty much the last interaction we had between Ash and Serena. So Serena essentially confessed and then kissed Ash. We're very proud of you for that, Serena. It really made your goodbye all the more tearful and all the more painful to watch. Really hoping she comes back. But that's a whole other subject for another day that I'm not going to get dragged into a huge wormhole. But I also must admit that it was a nice touch at the end of the episode where we see Ash arriving back home at night, Serena arriving in Hoenn during the day, a clear reference to Sun and Moon, the upcoming anime at the time. And of course, we also see the baby breast flowers around Ash at home, which is, you know, the flower of love, yada, yada, yada. And we see Serena as she's arriving. There's cherry blossoms in the background in Hoenn, and that's also a flower of love and affection and all that other stuff. So it was really well done, really subtle differences in there that really topped the episode off, really put it over the top, and made it probably one of the best goodbyes that Pokemon has done to date. So yeah, this is really got to take the spot as number 1 for a lot of reasons, and those are the main ones. Essentially, it's because the ship became canon in this episode. Completely canon, not debatable at this point anymore. At this point, it was debatable, not anymore, especially now that it's been confirmed that, yes, they both had feelings for one another. Yes, it was a kiss on the lips. This is canonical. The crush is canonical. The relationship's canonical. Everything is canon now. This is the episode where it truly became full circle, and that's why this episode, Pokemon X, Y, and Z, episode 47, The Endless Zero, Until the Day We Meet Again, or in the English dub, Till We Compete Again, made number 1 on the list of all-time favorite top 5 Amourshipping episodes. And there we have it, everyone. My top 5 favorite Amourshipping episodes. Now, like I said, way back in the original video I did a couple years ago, this video was arguably the toughest video I ever made because of just the sheer magnitude of the amount of Amourshipping episodes, hints, moments. They were all extremely well done, extremely well written. You could tell that the writers and producers threw everything they had at them. They were all extremely well done, extremely well written, and it would be impossible to not do a top 5 list without knocking some great ones out of the running. But these are just my top 5 episodes overall. There's still so much of it that I enjoyed. It's really an aspect that I do miss, and it's like I've said for a long time, it's like they purposely made Ash and Serena for one another, and that Serena is arguably going to be the closest thing to a female version of Ash we're ever going to get, unless, of course, Ash ends his run as the main protagonist and the next generation's his daughter, Ash and Serena's daughter, but I don't think that will happen because Pokemon is not about to take that radical of a step anytime soon, in my opinion, although they should if they really wanted to reset the anime for a real hard reset. Let's just put it that way and get off that soapbox. So anyway, with all of that being said, this is an aspect of the show that I truly miss. And with that being said, in the comments section down below, let me know what your guys' thoughts are. Do you agree with my list? Do you agree with my rankings? Do you not agree? Do you have some favorites of your own that did not make it into my top list or this particular top list? Let me know in the comments section down below, because as always, I enjoy hearing from you. All right, everyone. As always, Templar74 signing off. Have a great day, everyone. I'll talk to you all next time. Goodbye, everybody. And once again, happy Amourshipping Day, everyone.